All right, I'm doing it fairly spontaneously because I wasn't even sure if I'm going to go live tonight. But here's hoping. We'll see. Here I am. I'm live. Yes. Yep, I've got video, I've got audio. It's the Nazarite, bringing you Hebrew lore from days of yore. I wasn't even sure if I'm going to go live. But you know what? Why not? Let's do it. So let's pin the AMA message right here. Okay. Wow, wow. All right. So, Tuesday night. I've been in the comments for the last hour or two, putting the kids to sleep and all that. And also being good questions, incidentally. Very good questions in the comments this evening. So if you've got anything, say, hey, two people are here. Hello, two people. Hi, hello. Good evening. Good day. Where are you from? Who are you? And where are you at? Let me know. I'm interested. Definitely interested. Okay, so as I was saying, I was in the comments. Aim said, are you a Rasta chosen man? What are you smoking? So I told him I'm not a Rasta, I'm not chosen for anything, and I don't smoke herb anymore. So there's that. So I have that going for me, which is nice. Philo said, Jesus called a woman a dog. Hello, sir, I'm from California, says syrup for Prez. What type of syrup? It really, really depends on what type of syrup. Is it maple syrup? Is it a blueberry syrup? Say hello to my brother, he's in California. How you doing there on the West Coast? William Barry said, bro, you know it's bad when you are one of the Dane ones? One of the Dane ones? You mean sane or Dane? I'm not a great Dane. I'm an okay Dane. Yo, says Daniel. Dane, yes, of course. Dane or sane? Yeah, things are bad. Things are pretty bad. So many people in the comments putting words into my mouth and beliefs into my brain and erecting a straw man out of them that they later knock down so heroically. And I go, nobody said that. Sane. Yes, well, we're never going to survive unless we get a little crazy. That's what Seal said, and I'm on board with that. Definitely on board with that. So, Syrup, tell me, how is California treating you these days? How's the weather? I've got some black tea with lemon. And as I said in the beginning, I wasn't even going to go live. But then I was like, you know what? Why the hell should I not go live? Daniel says, be honest, does the Jewish space laser exist? And if yes, can I give a go using it? Well, they didn't consult with me. I have no idea. As I've said before, because this question has come up, two types of Jewish lasers. One of them is the anti-missile laser, or anti anything in the air, really. Let's call it ballistic missile laser, or anti-rocket laser, or things that are supposed to shoot airborne projectiles or missiles or rockets or whatever, and cut them up with lasers from the ground to the sky. And likely, I wouldn't put it past the state of Israel to put some lasers in the satellites that it sent up into space. Weather is exceptional in California, William Barry says. Yes, so I've heard. So as for having a go using it, I have no idea. I wasn't in the meetings. They didn't consult me. But I believe that I might have let you give it a go, sure. Perfect weather currently, says Syrup. Yeah, man, I'm a summer man. I love the heat. I love the summer. Being right on an ocean property there in Cali. Anon said, have you decided what the weather will be tomorrow? All love. Well, Anon Leska, I suppose here in Jerusalem it will be cold and sunny. That's what I'm thinking, but I don't know. I'm driving, so I'm just here to listen. All right, Syrup, focus on the driving. That's the most important thing. Reach your destination in health, wealth, and happiness, God willing. And yeah, focus on the driving. I only got my license a year ago. Is it very hot in Jerusalem generally? No, not very hot in Jerusalem. No, it's more up in the mountain area, so there's always a breeze. And even when it's hot, it's not exceptionally humid, unlike other areas of the country. So even if it's hot, it's not humid and hot, which is a great relief. You're awesome, dude, says Lily. Thanks, I appreciate it, Lily. I definitely do. So let's continue. Kamatobe said, atheism is blasphemy. It cannot be good in any way. So I told him, do you think that atheists are by definition not good? He didn't answer me yet. It was just about an hour ago. But in the comments, right? But I mean, what about all the atheists that still engage in loving kindness and charity and goodwill and who are philanthropists and who are, what? Is hygiene against the Torah or something? No, no, it's just a beard, it's just hair. I'm fairly clean, holler, and hygienic overall. Hi from Pakistan, says Tala Ahmed. Hello, hi to you. Whose Mashiach is it there all? Oh, whose Mashiach? Who is or whose? Or who is? Is it there already? Well, Mashiach is an anointed one. He arrives when he arrives. Have you snorkeled or scuba the Red Sea? No, I haven't. It doesn't really. If it came across, if I happened across there, then I would, but I don't think I did, no. Yusuf says, do you support your country government committing mass murder to innocent civilians? Well, the government is not committing mass murder. That's by definition not what it's doing. It's fighting a war which it did not start. It's a defensive war. But I don't support everything the government does, that's for sure. When I was in Gambia, it was like 30 Celsius every day, but it felt like 50, and my Polish body barely survived it. Oi, says Fran. Asked for fourth time I see you now, mate. Can you please explain Kaparot? Kaparot is a custom that is done on the eve of the holiday of atonement, Yom Kippurim, Chag Kippurim, one of the most holiest days of the year, and it's basically two ways of doing Kaparot. Kaparot means atonements. It's basically where you take some money for charity and you spin it around the head of the individual whom you want the money to atone for, so to speak. You say a quick prayer, you give the money to charity. Or you do it with a chicken, where a male chicken, right, a rooster for a male, a hen for a female, man, woman, whatever, right, 3 times around the head. This is my atonement, this is my exchange, this is what I'm giving, right, and instead, this chicken will go to die, or this money will go to charity, and or this person will go into a long and happy life. And it's basically saying, we have no temple now, and it's not really a sacrifice, but it's kind of imitating that idea of using money or a living animal in order to atone. And since we have no ritual worship at the temple right now, that's not quite what it does, but money does it more than the living thing. However, the point is that you give the money to charity, or you give the dead bird to people who have no food to eat on the eve of Yom Kippur. And it's a great mitzvah, it's a great commandment to partake and to feast on the day of Yom Kippur. Our sages say that he who feasts on the 9th and fasts on the 10th, it's as if he fasted on the 9th and the 10th. It's a great mitzvah. The Kabbalists eat 5 meals a day, not huge meals, but 5 times when they either break bread or consume something which technically, halachically, would be considered a meal. And there are 5 prayers as opposed to the regular 3 or 4 on festivals. So that's basically kaparot. It's a custom, it's not halacha. An Israeli told me Mashiach is the state of Israel. Is the state of Israel that the entire state is anointed? That doesn't make any sense. There are people in Israel who say they are the Messiah, but time will tell on that. Can non-Jews read the Torah or the Talmud? Yeah, sure. If they read the Aramaic or the Hebrew or the translation, they technically can, bio. Now, if you're talking, hey, sexy Wolfie, look that a Jew. Yes, indeed. Now, if you're saying, can they, who are you asking? Some people would say, yes, they're supposed to, and some people say, no, they're not supposed to. Some people would say, yes, they're allowed to study Torah, but not Talmud, since they have no halacha to follow. Some would say, no, they could study the Talmud in order to sort of sharpen up their brain intellectually in the debate and whatnot, but not Torah, since that was given to the people of Israel. You could take it in all kinds of different ways. Moody says, just for the giggles, please comb your beard and hair for us. Well, you're not allowed to comb your hair if you're a Nazarite, but I will quickly do this with the beard. Okay, combing with the... Done. For shits and giggles. There you go. My friend, says Mike, I wish you peace and strength to keep polite and professional amid the occasional trivial onslaught. I'm a Christian with love for you and for all who prefer tolerance. I do prefer tolerance, but, this is the internet. This is a madhouse. It's a nut house, right? People saying everything, and it's an open forum. So, that's what it's about. I'm a Dagestan Jew, a Tati, Alex says. Alexander Justice. Wait, a Dagestan? Dagestan? Where's that? What are goyim? The goyim are nations. Israel is a goy. The nations are a goy. Some people use the word goyim pejoratively. I don't. Goyim means the other nations. Israel is also a goy. Are you extreme Hebrew? No, I'm just a regular, simple, dumbass Hebrew man here in the Middle East. That's pretty much it. Mauro said, that Israeli told me that the only thing that doesn't line up with the prophecies is that Mashiach is a man. Also, why are Neturei Karta against Israel? Well, Neturei Karta and other religious folk who are against Israel say that the state of Israel was established in sin, it missed the mark, it was a socialist and secular thing, not mandated by God, and that we should have waited for a clear-cut sign or an anointed one or something, and not simply make the decision to make the pilgrimage to our ancestral home, which is why they say that a Jew is not a Zionist. But that is demonstrably untrue, although they may think that, and it's all good. They can think whatever they want. See, it's the idea again of, do you wait for the spiritual to arrive before going to the physical, or do you go to the physical and then wait for the spiritual to be poured on top of it? There are different places in the prophecies and in the scrolls, right? Ezekiel and the dry bones and the three oaths in the Song of Songs are the classic two, where in the dry bones it's the physical body that's erected and then the spirit is poured into it. Or in the Song of Songs it says that you're not supposed to, or in the Midrash, right? It says not to awaken the love before it appears, right? Do not awaken the love before it wants you. So there are two ways to go about it, but that's why they are against Zionism and the modern day state of Israel, basically. Life says, bro, look like a 99 RuneScape magic wizard. Well, I am only an apprentice, so no 99 RuneScapes for me. Dagestan Matcha Skala. I don't know where that is. I am ignorant. Please tell me where that is in the world. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, melech haolam, she'akol nihye b'dvaro. Oh, good tea. Black tea with honey. Are you one of them? No, I am not a Neturei Karta. Definitely not. Neturei Karta means the keepers of the city. That's what that means. Wait, Notrei Karta? Yes, I'm pretty sure Neturei, in that sense, it means keeper of the city. Karta means city. Neturei, Notrim, Neturei, I guess the keepers of the city. No, definitely not one of them. I don't support everything the modern day state of Israel does. I don't support everything the IDF does. I don't support everything the governments do here, right? But I do support the idea of the state of Israel as being the precursor, right, to that spiritual element that is and will be continually poured onto this place. So I am a dry bones person, right? Where first the body is erected and the sinew and the blood and everything, and only then is the spirit called from the four corners, let's say, and put into the body. So we are building a physical vessel here. And it's flawed, seriously flawed, but that doesn't mean it has no merit, see? New World Order says fuck the IDF. Well, of course, if you have a New World Order, you'd want to fuck the IDF. Hey, from Rishon LeZion. Yo, Rishon LeZion will always remind me of Ba'ad Eser. I know that Ba'ad Eser is now, that's the military medical school, because I'm a field medic, or I was when I was serving. And that's where I was next to Rishon LeZion. That's where the medics course was. People are not government. I agree. People are not government. Belik Bom. Good intentions, says Hi. Well, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. North Caucasus. Okay, north of the Caucasus. Okay, now, thank you. Now I know. Erection, says Odin. Yes, there are many erections happening right now. Some of them consciously, some of them unconsciously, some of them purposefully, some of them not purposefully. Why, erections are popping up all over the universe, right? Even right now as I'm speaking these words. Let's consider that just for a moment. All right, as long as you have the blood pumping and the testosterone flowing, you get that erection going. Okay, people vote for governments. Yes, I haven't voted in 20 years because I don't like playing the game. I'm not a political man. I don't support any specific party, any specific leader, any specific strain, any political anything. It's a dirty, dirty game. I don't want any part of it. I will be voting in the next election just because things need to change. Even I know that by now. But no, I haven't voted in about 20 years because it sucks. Also, I kind of believe that the people who we vote for are puppets, and that the people who are pulling their strings are people who were not voted in. People with money, people with power, people with influence, lobbyists, and so on. Okay. What do you think about Palestine? Nope, I'm not doing that right now. This time, I've answered. Look, I must have done close to what, 800 live streams, including the video, including the last channel that was deleted. So today I'm going to do less Palestine and less Jesus, even though I do it every single live stream, and even though I patiently answer just about every single question that comes in the chat regarding Jesus and Palestine. I want to do it differently this evening. I went spontaneously. I wasn't going to broadcast, but I am broadcasting, so I want to do something a little bit different. No Jesus or Palestine. If you do want to know my views on Jesus and Palestine, there are about 800 live streams, or 500 in this channel, that you could go and look up. It comes up every live stream, so go check it out. Can you do the hand rub, says Homelander. Oh, you bet. Is that good? I'm thinking it's pretty good. Fellowship, Stella, says Starboy the Knight. Oh, that's nice. You look like a crazed madman. No, not only do I look like a crazed madman, I am a crazed madman. So, Fred Flintstone accused. Wow, I haven't seen the Flintstones in a long time. What in the Rasputin was that? So, you know what, Rasputin, only recently did I discover that he's not part of communism. I thought he was a communist. No, he was a healer, right? And he was at the time of the Tsars, something like that, but he wasn't a communist. Or at the switchover, right, at the revolution, I don't recall. But I only figured that out recently when someone called me Rasputin. You're not the only one. And I was like, wait, what? Wasn't he a communist? I'm not a communist. But no, he had nothing to do with communism. It's a common misconception, apparently. Love you for that hand rub. Oh, you bet. You bet. Free Israel and Palestine, says Starboy. All right, that I'll go with. I'll drink to that. What's your favorite food dish? Asks Syrup in California. Hummus. Hummus, pita, falafel, salad, some hot sauce. I could eat that every day. Every day. My favorite thing. Falafel. Falafel rolled up, right, in a lafa, or in esh tanur if you're in Yerushalayim. Yeah, for sure. Foreskins, says Red Pill Muscle. Oh, definitely foreskins, for sure. For sure. Do you really think, says Otligashi, that killing people led you to paradise? What? What does that even mean? First of all, what is paradise? Second of all, do I really think that killing people? No, killing to people leads to death. That's pretty much it. Now, if somebody's coming to kill you, by all means, kill them first. But no, murder is wrong. Killing people for absolutely no reason is wrong. Sometimes even killing people, if you have a reason, is wrong. Which is why a Sanhedrin, a high court that would put people to death once every 7 or 70 years, they say, would be called lethal and would not be welcomed. Not as other Sanhedrins. Oh, let's continue. I think he means Muslims believe in that. Okay. Okay. How are you and where are you from, says Mouther. Well, Mouther, I'm in Jerusalem, and where are you from? I am doing very, very well this lovely Tuesday evening. I'm very happy to be here with you good people. It's a lot of fun to engage with you. Isn't animals wrong too, says Ishar. Animals? What do you mean? Well, I'm vegan, so I'm a fan of animals. I like earthlings. But okay. I'm not sure what you mean. Faith, says Starboy. I'm loving the emojis, Starboy. Then what Jews kill babies? All right, once again, I'm not going to talk about the war. If you want my views on the war, check out any other live stream I've ever done. I have a question that might sound dumb. No dumb questions, Joel. But didn't Jews come from the Middle East? Why are most of you guys white? First of all, most Jews are not white. Most Jews are brown, Mizrahi, from the Middle East. The reason why some dudes are white is because of A, genetics and conversions. B, there was a time when the Hebrew faith and the religion, the ethnicity, the belonging to the tribes went through the father. At the time of Ezra the scribe, after the return from Babylon, he decided, because people were marrying foreign women, to keep it close to the hood, and he said, no, from now on, the affiliation to the tribes goes through the mother. So Hebrew men chose Hebrew women. So basically, it's because there have been a lot of converts over the years, and a lot of people who, first by the father, then by the mother. It's a genetic mix. However, there's this whole argument: real Jews, original Jews, fake Jews. Screw that. A Jew is a Jew is a Jew is a Jew. It doesn't matter if I converted this morning. I'm still 100% Jewish. Now, for some people, a lot of people, that is a hard, tough, yucky pill to swallow, but it is true historically. It is true rabbinically. So why are most of you guys white? Most of us are not white. Second of all, the ones who are white is because there's been a mix. That's it. The Hebrew people are not a skin color. The Hebrew people is a covenant between us and God, right? It's the Torah, it's the commandments. So that's what that is. And you can be black-skinned, white-skinned, red-skinned, yellow-skinned, pink-skinned. Doesn't really matter. Mouther says, sorry for personal questions. That's why we're here, man. But are you believe in religion? Well, I'm a man of cafeteria religion. I pick and choose what I want, and I make no apology. As I've said, right back in the reserves, my friend, my platoon buddy said that I'm the most religious secular person he knows, and the most secular religious person he knows. That's what I go with. I'm just a regular Hebrew man, no more, no less. When was the last time you shat your pants? Says Don't Trip. Well, don't even trip, yo, I'm gonna tell you. The last time I shat my pants. Do you mean like a little bit of a shart, or do you mean like really shat my pants? Like a, oh my god, it's happening. I'm guessing you're going with the second one. Must have been, let's see, we've been in this apartment for 2.5 years. And, 4.5 years ago, it came out of nowhere. And the ironic thing is, I was outside. I was in my neighborhood. I was 30 seconds away from my toilet, and I couldn't do it, and I shat my pants. But at least I was close to home on my way home, so that was a good thing. People, when was the last time you shat your pants? I'd love to know. Leave a comment or, the chat. Bro, wash your hair, says Josh. I do wash my hair, actually, so thank you. Joel says, so I'm Jew if I'm born in America? I like to think I'm American. Yes, you can be an American Jew. You can have loyalty to America. You can go by the Constitution. You can go with the Bill of Rights. You can go with all of that. You can salute the chief of staff and whatnot. But you can also be culturally, ethnically, religiously Jewish in the sense that you keep the traditions, you learn the Hebrew, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. So you get to decide how involved you are in being an American. You get to decide how involved you are in being a Jew. They don't have to negate each other. Now, if push comes to shove, and you're called to choose a side, that's a case-by-case basis. You'll have to excuse the coughing. I'm taking allergy medicine once again, and it needs... so Jew isn't ethnic, it's a religious. No, it's both, because Jews come from Judea, but you can be a Jew anywhere. You don't have to be in Judea. You don't have to be from the tribe of Judah. You don't have to be from the kingdom of Judah to be a Jew, because then you're not a Jew specifically, you're a Hebrew man or woman of the tribes of Israel. Jew is very limiting. Jew pertains to the remnants of the remnants of the remnants of the kingdom of Judah. That's what Jew is, right, in Judea. But you can be a Hebrew man, keep the covenant, be of a different tribe, be in a different physical location, and still keep to the Torah, still keep to the commandments, still partake of the covenant between you and God. So that makes you a Hebrew. Oy vey, says Improve Self, don't talk about the Talmud. I don't think I did, and I won't. Was Christopher Columbus Jewish? I don't think so. I don't think so, Eight Haven. I don't think so. I don't think he was a Jew. Shalom, dog, says Serene Soul. Hey, Serene Soul, that's a nice name. What are your Middle Eastern politics so we know if we like you or not? Well, that one Zeus, I'll tell you. I have no politics whatsoever. I stay away from politics like the plague. I haven't voted in about 20 years, and I may vote in the next election just to change things, but I have no idea. I don't go to the left, I don't go to the right, I don't go to the center. The way I am with politics is like this. Tell me the scenario, tell me the situation, give me the details, the data, everything, I'll take it into account and I'll make a decision, case-by-case basis. That's my politics. So you can decide if you like me or not. This is not a popularity contest. You should go debate Ian, says Vikolai. Well, I'm not a debater. I'm not looking to persuade anyone of my point of view. I'm not looking to prove how I'm right or somebody else is wrong. I'm just here spitting my dumbass opinions. I'm just a dude with a phone. Give me Jewish cock, says Neat Room 69. Well, if your room is neat and you are into 69, I might consider it. I'll have to consult with my woman first. I don't think she would be on board. But it's nice that you're open to receiving Jewish cock. That's pretty good. Milad says, easy to ignore comments about Palestine, address the genocide, coward. No, you go and address every other single live stream I've ever done. I've done hundreds of them. I've answered the question on Palestine every single time, and I've not shied away from it. So go check that out. I'm not taking any Jesus questions tonight or any Palestine questions tonight, unless they're really like on the fringe and, outside the box, in which case I'll address it. But no, I've addressed it billions of times. Tonight I don't feel like doing it. And as for being a coward, if it makes you feel better about yourself, go ahead and call me a coward. It says a lot more about you than it does about me. But seriously, if you do want to know Malaz, I understand it means a lot to you to know what some dumbass thinks of Palestine or the genocide. So you go ahead and check out any one of my videos. Last night's live stream. You can stop now, go ahead, I won't be offended. Go ahead, clear out and watch the live stream from last night. It came up several times. Pick a time out of the an hour and a half that I was on, and chances are you'll fall on, one of them. I could really go for a knish, says Timothy. Hey, Timothy Levine, good to see you again. God is cruel, says Tomas. There is definitely a revelation of God that could be construed as cruel, right? The thing is this. It's been likened to a parent who's not letting a child have a lollipop. The child really wants it. It really, truly wants it. It's all he wants. Just give me the lollipop. The parent knows that it's too late. He already brushed his teeth. He had 5 of them already. Dude, you're not getting this last lollipop. Is that cruel? The child would think it's really, really cruel. The parent is simply wanting to put some guidelines, right? The parent simply needs some boundaries. Now, it's not a perfect analogy, but I'm just saying the revelation of God, which is cruel, is relative. This is a cruel world. It's a world of good and evil, right? It's the world that we were cast into from Eden. It's a world that is mostly bad and some good, according to the Kabbalists. So, you're absolutely right in the sense of God is cruel. There is a revelation of cruelty from the Most High God. The thing is that it's many times on us to negate that cruelty, if you will, by being the light, right? How do you expel the darkness? Not with a stick, but with a light. So shine your light. Make your environment less cruel. Be less cruel yourself to the degree that you can be. And the divine revelation will go with that. However, because it's a law of nature, right? And we are living in a world of physical rules and a world of good and evil, you could be a very righteous person caught at the wrong place at the wrong time, and you're done. That's the way of the world. That's it. What country are you in? That one Zeus says. I'm in Israel. I'm in Jerusalem. He is a Jew. That is all you need to know, says Microaggressor. I love the name. You know what? Is it all you need to know? People love to make these broad generalizations and make these blanket statements as if they know what each individual Jew is thinking. I'll have you know, because it's been said about me, not because I'm tooting my own horn here or anything, I'm not your mainstream Jew. So you can think whatever the hell you want. That's your prerogative. As for that's all you need to know, I would say that's a little racist. But feel free, we are all a little bit racist. The question is, are you a little bit racist? Or are you open to kind of, having a discussion? So I'll tell you what, microaggressor, you try to macro or microaggress me and shoot something my way. I hope I'll see it in the chat and I'll address it. And maybe your blanket statement that's dripping of racism will be proved correct. And maybe not, but there's only one way to find out. But making a blanket statement and making a broad generalization about 15 million people, that's not the way to go, in my opinion. The Matrix Jew is back, says H-Busta. H-Busta is back. Good to see you, man. Good to see. I want to macro-aggress you, says Deebs Done For. All right, go ahead, macro-aggress me. Go for it. Oh, look at that. Israel Shalmuta. Oh, look at that. That's a lovely name. I love it. Favorite Hasidic Rebbe? Rabbi Nachman of Breslev. Hands down. Definitely hands down. Incidentally, the phrase hands down came from horse racing when the person was so far ahead he could just lay down his hands. That's hands down. It's like no contest. Absolutely. That's what hands down means. So yes. Yeah, Rabbi Nachman of Breslev, definitely my favorite Hasidic rabbi. Emmanuel says, I'm a Nazarite too. Really, Emmanuel Godson, what type of Nazarite are you? There are 4 different ones. Hey, Philo is here. He's been talking to me in the comments this evening. You would look great in my oven, says Sir Airless de Vacuum. Love the name, Airless. Yeah, I would. Thing is, you would have to chop me up. I'm pretty thin. I'm not unhealthy, but I'm pretty thin, and I'm vegan. Not a lot of meat on these bones. So while I would look great in the oven, I doubt there would be much to eat of me when it's all said and done. Maybe my butt. But I'm not carrying that much cake back there. So, whatever you want. It's all good. Because I'll be dead. So if you want to eat me, you go ahead and eat me. Okay, let's continue. 4 types of Nazarites. Yes, H. Busta. 4 types of Nazarites. How do you know English? My parents are American. That's how I know English. I mean, they teach English here in schools, but I know English the way that I do from my parents' legit way. I'm the kind of Nazarite you don't mess with, says Emmanuel Godson. Hey, I'll take your word for it, man. Are you Jewish? I cannot tell. Yes, I am more of a Hebrew. Jew is a little constraining. But yes, I am a Jew. Don't Trip says I farted on my balls. What do you think? I think that for the fart to be on your balls, you would have to be situated in such a way where you're kind of leaning back and your balls, depending on the size of your sack, right, are sort of resting comfortably, and the fart goes forward. So you're leaning back a little bit, and you get the beep, and it hits your balls in the back. The question is, was the fart that boisterous that your nutsack actually moved? Was there a tremor? Like in Seinfeld, right? I think it moved. Or was it simply, well, first of all, what kind of fart was it? Was it a juicy one? Was it a wet one? Was it a dry one? Was it a loud one? Was it a hiss? Was it a, silent but deadly? We got to know this information. You can't just show up here, say you farted on your balls, and not give more information, sir. The people demand it. Come on. Okay, let's continue. Let's continue. Oh, wow. The chat is wild. All right. Are you tucking? That's the only way you fart on your balls, surely. You know what? Miss Edgy, that is a good question. You don't have to tuck, because it depends on the fart and the angle. Now, if you are tucking, then every fart is a fart on your balls, which means that he wouldn't have to necessarily say, what do you think? Because it would be a common thing. So I'm thinking he's not a tucker, he is a farter, and he was laying back. But time will tell, right? I hope he tells us. Oh, okay. Yes, it rippled. It was a loud brap. All right. I like the way you think. All right, I like the cut of your jib, Don't Trip. I've joined at the perfect time, says Robbie. Oh, it's always a perfect time on this live stream. I've sat, pardon me. Eric says, I've sat on my own balls, so it's not necessary. Well, then again, so many questions. You sat on them, and were they sucked into your anus? That might be very painful. I don't think your scrotum would ever be the same again. Or was it merely that you sat on them accidentally, and then got up and, slung them back over your shoulder where they belong? Lift one leg up to fart. Yes, that's right. That's truly, truly right. I'm reminded, H. Busta, of the bit in I Love You, Man, where he gives the play-by-play of the fart. That dude's got a fart, it's clear. Jacob says, shut the fuck up, stupid. Are you 11? 11 is giving me a ton of credit. I think mentally I'm more 5, 6. I get along great with my kids, right? Let's put it that way. A wise man said, you never fart on another man's balls. See, this is what this live stream is all about. We get this lore, this deep, deep, ancient lore, right? Don't quote the ball magic to me, witch. I was there when it was written. Who knows that reference? Okay. Can you happily sit while tucking? Can one do both at once is a real question. Matthew H. is in the house. Hey, Matthew. Well, I'm thinking that once you're used to tucking, right, people who are drag queens and others, the Silence of the Lambs types of people, I'm thinking maybe they are already kind of desensitized in the scrotal area, but I have no idea because that place truly is so sensitive. So sensitive. Okay, let's continue. Daniel says, what do you think of libations as a religious practice? Have Jews ever given libations to their God? Wait, I need to be reminded of the meaning of the term libations. Ritual pouring of liquid as a religious offering. So yes, people did that at the time of the temple with oil and with wine and with water and with blood on the altar. In Hellenismus, it's extremely important, essentially the main expression of piety. So look, depending on the sacrificial offering that you were bringing, right, you had... Pardon me, this cough is... I'm waiting for that allergy medication to kick in. So yes, Jews do give libations, but it's on the altar. It's part of the offering, right? And once a year on Sukkot, the Feast of Booth, the Feast of Tabernacles, the Feast of Sukkot, the Festival of Sukkot, it would be water that they pour on the altar. And it's not the main expression of piety, but for you it's the main expression. I hear you. King Cyrus was the first king to give Bill of Rights, H. Buster says. Was he? Wasn't Hammurabi way before Cyrus? And didn't he have a Bill of Rights of some kind? I wonder. What's on your mug, the art, says Tabs, asks Tabs. I don't know. My woman has had this mug for years. I don't know what this is. It looks kind of anime-ish, but I don't know. Pardon me. So I don't know what it is. Let's continue. Rasputin says, okay, Russia's greatest disco king. Yeah, for sure. Symptom of life. Do you support LGBTQ plus rainbow? No, I don't. I mean, I support individual people. I don't support a community that's like I don't support the community as such, because even within that community, there's infighting. So you can't lump them all together and say, do you support this huge thing? It's like, no. Again, give me a question, give me a scenario, give me the details, tell me, I'll take everything into account and I'll address it. But blind support for a group, any group, I don't do that. I simply don't. Rohit says, hello, sir. I am a big fan, sir. How are you, sir? Please take my name, sir. Well, I'm no sir. You can call me Mr. Dumbass or just Dumbass if you're not, if you're into the brevity thing. Ass will just do. Just call me Ass. Yes, I am a big fan of yours too, Rohit. Who knew, right? It's a good thing we finally met. How am I? I'm doing very well. Thank God, by the grace of God, I'm broadcasting here live from Jerusalem, and it's a pleasure, such a pleasure, to be with you good people. Please take my name, sir. Take your name? What does that mean, to take your name? I don't think I want to change my name to Rohit. It is, in Aramaic, rahat means to run, and rahit in Hebrew means furniture, in the singular. I don't think I want to be called running furniture. That would be my Native American name, right? Or my first world nation name, running furniture. What do you think? I think I like it. I don't know. I'll have to walk with it a bit. We'll see. Either way, I appreciate the offer. Okay, let's continue. How do you read Hebrew? Looks so hard to learn. Well, I read Hebrew because I've always learned Hebrew. Always. I can also read some Aramaic. Eretz Yisrael Aramaic, not all types of Aramaic. And thank you, Mr. Gold Kush. Do you indeed smoke the Gold Kush? Now, any money that you give for this channel goes to charity. So if you want to give, go ahead and give. It won't go to me. And I hope to be as transparent as I can with this. But the deal is that, yes, I didn't know if to monetize or not. I did a poll. The audience voted 70, almost 80% yes, monetize. And I will be giving it to charity. So if you want to give, then give. If you don't want to give to me, which is understandable, but you still want to give to something, give to charity. Alina says, hey, Makore, how are you, Alina? Good to see you. Very good to see you. Do you support their equal rights? Well, again, tell me what the right is, and I'll tell you if I support it. You see, really, on a case-by-case basis. I say that, and I truly mean it. I truly mean it. But if, let's say the if, it's a big if we are living in a society where certain people have rights, and it's, let's say, for all intents and purposes, a non-religious society, then definitely, yes, they should have the same rights, because who cares who they sleep with? He could have just said yes. I don't know ladies. You don't know ladies? That's odd. They're everywhere. There was that Greek monk who had never seen a woman, right? He was born in the monastery, stayed there his whole life, died in the monastery without ever laying eyes on a woman. Quite the feat. Meshuggah, says Barry. You're darn right I'm Meshuggah. I'm a psycho Meshuggah. He could have just said yes. Do I? That means he doesn't. I mean, no, it really doesn't mean that. It means that I don't take a group. Groups are a problem, right? What's the phrase? Never underestimate the power of stupidity of people in large groups. Something like that. And yes, there are people in large groups that are hella stupid, where if you would take them individually on a case-by-case basis, there's some smarts there. But the group, the mob, is stupid. The mob is fickle. The mob does not know what it wants. Truly. And you know what? Within that LGBTQ plus community, it's not even a homogenic community. They have, right, let's say the TERFs, right? The trans exclusionary lesbian feminists. No, trans exclusionary radical feminists, whatever it is, right? The women who love women, who don't want men who are biological men to pretend to be women, to take their place in sports. There's infighting in the community itself. So don't lump it all together and say, do you support this big bag of stuff? No, give me a scenario. I'll tell you if I support it. I'll tell you if I support it or not, and I'll give you my reasons too. I don't shy away from voicing my opinion. I think I've made that pretty clear on YouTube and in life, for that matter. Young Gandalf. Yes, people have called me Gandalf. Interestingly enough, Sir Ian McKellen loved Gandalf the Grey a lot more than he did Gandalf the White. And even more interestingly, I recently saw a documentary on him playing the character, and there were times where in the same day he had to run to different sound stages, where one moment he was Gandalf the White, then hair and makeup and all, and he's Gandalf the Grey, and then once again Gandalf the White, and he, oh man, what dedication to his craft, Sir Ian McKellen. Truly, truly. Okay. I don't need to give you a reason for you to answer. You already know what happened for the last 70 plus years, says Kill You Old Dick. Kill you, old Dick? Well, what about young Dick? Young Richard, old Richard? All right. Let's continue. Moody says, אמר רב חיסדא, כל המנבל פיו מעמיקים לו גיהינם, אמר רב חנן בר רבא, הכל יודעין כלל למה נכנסה לחופה, אלא כל המנבל פיו ומוציא. Yes, and then that whole thing. Yes, so Moody is saying that you should not be befouling your speech. And usually I'm inclined to agree. The thing is this, that you can, well, look, what do you mean by foul speech? Let's put it that way. Moody 101, you with your moods. Tell me what you mean. It's nice to quote the Talmud. Is it the Talmud? Rav, yes. It's nice to quote the Talmud, but tell me what you actually think. Tell me what you think is foul language. Tell me what you think is language which is villainous. That's what nibul pe means. Villain means naval. So tell me what villainous language is to you. Okay, let's continue. No sound, says Jake. I don't think so. Fred Uckers is back. Hey, Fred Uckers. What do you mean foul speech was my line? Start to wash yourself and go out a bit more, my man, Martin of Earth. Well, it's nice to meet a fellow Earthling. Here's the thing. I do wash myself regularly, and I don't like going out. I really don't. I'm more of a homebody. I love being at home. I dig the vibe here. And I go out, and it's fun when I do, but I don't need to go out more. Although my wife would say I probably do. That's true. Foul speech negative against others. Yeah, maybe. But listen, right, here's what he said, right? He said, everybody knows why a bride gets married. In other words, she wants to get some. But a person who would stand up in the middle of the wedding and say, oh, she's getting married so she can have sex because she's a virgin. Oh, that's something where it's like, yes, everybody knows it, but don't point it out, right? In other words, be tactful. Be tactful, right? Be tactful with your speech. It means be careful with your speech. It doesn't necessarily mean don't curse. It doesn't necessarily mean don't swear. It doesn't necessarily mean, it means if you're gonna curse, do it properly, do it right, pick the time and place. If you're going to make an oath or a vow or swear at someone, make it count. And it means don't belittle your speech and don't, what would be the term? Don't pathologize your speech, right? Something like that. Because the example that is given in the Gemara, right, in the Talmud, is a bride that is about to get married. We all know, right, she's a virgin and she wants to get some. But you're not going to go and, stand in front of her mother and father and say, hey, he's going to be doing her in a day or two, huh? No, it's like there's a time and a place. Okay, let's continue. Hebrew Nazarite says, Matthew, you have missed some super chats from other folks with questions. Oh, okay, good. Let's see. I'll go back and see, because the super chats should definitely be acknowledged. Oh, okay. Did Jews get reparations due to political power? Eight Haven. I don't know. I think political power? Why would the Jews... Wait, let's put it this way. Do you mean Holocaust reparations? First of all, thank you for telling me that I missed some super chats. Second of all, which reparations are you talking about, Aidhav? Third, I think it's all somewhat political. It could be that you could say, no, these countries who gave the Jews reparations were virtuous and they wanted to do the moral thing. You could say that. I don't know the background for the reparations. I know that, let's say, certain places in the Holocaust and during World War II who aided the Nazis, those countries gave reparations. Germany gave reparations. I don't know what. Does it have to do with political power? I don't know. I stay away from politics. Was there anything else? Was there another super chat that I missed? I don't think so. But if I did, please tell me, because I'd like to know. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. Here, I just monetized like a week ago. So here it is. Okay. Can you say a verse in Hebrew, Mr. Goldkush says? Yes, okay, I shall. A verse. You know what? Here, let's take one from this week's Torah portion. Let's take one from Parashat Bo. והייתה צעקה גדולה בכל ארץ מצרים, אשר כמוהו לא נהיית וכמוהו לא תוסיף. There, that was a verse in Hebrew from Shmot, right? Exodus 11, verse 6. There you go. How do you read Hebrew? Okay, wait, that one I read. Was there anything else? Eight Haven? Was it? Okay, I don't know. Oh, see, I can single them out. I didn't know I can do that, and now I can. See, it's good to know. Exodus 11:6. Yes, that's right. I know you're a homebody, but have you noticed any shift in how American Jews are received in Jerusalem now compared to when you were young, particularly those coming outside of the normal UO path? UO? What do you mean UO? Do you mean OU Orthodox Union? I think that American Jews have always been welcomed here. I would love to say that Jews have always been welcomed here, but I've heard some people mistreat French Jews and Russian, Ukrainian Jews, Ethiopian Jews. American Jews are less, in my experience, I don't know of people who have been, you could say that some of them have been harassed. And with American Jewry, no, there was always a strong presence of American Jewry in the land of Israel. Somewhat, at least compared to others from the diaspora. So I don't think there's been a shift, but I'm not very much in touch with American Jews as such. So I don't know. Oh, the baby's awake. I think my wife will go to him, I hope. But if not, I might need to say goodbye and go make a bottle. We'll see. As a Hebrew speaker, it doesn't seem like you speak Hebrew. Say, ach sheli, bach sheli ata. Nadrok. כפרה, אני מדבר עברית שוטפת. עברית צחה. It doesn't seem like you speak Hebrew. Say, אח שלי, בח שלי אתה. כן, אתה אשכרה אח שלי, בח שלי לגמרי. 100%. אחלה עברית, אחי. תודה רבה. מאיפה אתה, נרדוק? מנוון אינתה. What about American Graffiti? American Graffiti, is that a movie? Am I thinking of the movie American Graffiti? I don't remember. Have you seen the Dead Sea Scrolls? Yes, I have. They're in the Israel Museum, or they were in the Israel Museum at the time. I think. Not all Jews are Hebrew speakers. Thank you very much, says Lame. Hey, not so lame. Yes, look, I'm bilingual. Hebrew and English are both my mother tongue. So I can speak both fairly well, and I can read the Torah fairly well, and I can read the... and I've read works in English and in Hebrew, so, and I'm also a person of words. I'm a writer. That's what I do. How was your day? Robert Harrison asks. My day has been pretty darn good. I'm very happy with my day, and I'm happy that you can join me in my night. Daniel says, have you ever read Works and Days? If yes, what do you think of Hesod's moral and practical advice in it? No, I haven't read that. You're going to make a bottle? Oh, there's the bottle. Are most people good or bad in your opinion? I can't reach a conclusion. I'm inclined to say blindly, with no reference whatsoever, that most people are inherently good. That's what I would like to think. Is Hebrew a hard language to learn? Saber asks. I've been told yes. I've definitely been told it's a very hard language to learn. Definitely. Is true that it's Dates in the Talmud? Nope, we're not doing the Jesus thing, not tonight. Go check out other live streams. I speak about Jesus all the time because people ask about Jesus all the time. What do you mean by good? What I mean by good is that they treat others the way they would want to be treated by and large. We all fall from grace, we all fall short of the ideal, we all make mistakes. But I believe that people are inherently good where they have that good inclination that is driving them to do good things and behave well. Not everybody can do it all the time, of course, we're only human. Daniel says, I have learned about Noahides some time ago. Do you think they should or should not read the Torah? Well, the Noahide thing is a controversy. It's a dispute there. A lot of people say that they should be keeping the 7 laws of the Noahides, and other people say, no, there's no such thing as the Noahide laws. I don't really have an opinion. I think to each his own, right? I don't necessarily think that the nations should be keeping what's in the Torah as faith, right? Not necessarily. If they have their deities, they have their gods, they have their ways, then they should be doing that. Do you want me to stop? Do you want me to get off?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I probably should have gotten up. Okay. Noah, who says, ever since sin came into the world through Eve, you should know people are born into sin. Well, no, that's not the way that I see it. That's not the way that I see it at all. I see that we all have the potential of being benevolent and malevolent. We all have the potential of being good and evil. But the question is always, and now what? Our sages teach us that you should always be thinking of yourself as in the perfect balance. And the next thing you do, if it's good for you, all of the world is now a bit more righteous. And if you do something that's, if you transgress or you do something bad, then woe to you, because now because of you, the entire world is a little more towards the negative and the evil. And that you should always see yourself as on a kind of balance like that. So people born into sin? No, I don't think that. I think that people are born and we have an ego, but we can also use the Torah, the commandments, and our life, right, to shed that karma, as it were, and to shed that ego bit by bit, layer by layer, peeling the onion, right? But that whole born in sin thing, I'm not a fan of that at all. Not a fan of that. Why do you hate Christians and Muslims? I don't. I know Christians and I know Muslims, and I don't hate them whatsoever. No beef with milk is easy. No cheeseburger is the hard part, says Fred Uckers. Well, for a vegan, I have a vegan hamburger with cheese, with vegan cheese. So vegan ham and vegan cheese. So I can pull it off. Are you a Messianic Jew? No, I'm not a Messianic Jew. The Josephus. I believe that, Jesus was just, he's now a dead man. That's all he is. He's not the Messiah. Maybe he was until he died, but he's not the Messiah. That's it. So I'm not a Messianic. Why don't you come back USA, bro? Well, I've never lived there, I never lived there. I've lived here. I've gone there to see family and stuff like that. I never lived there. Hey, קורא עברית? אלינה, כן, עניתי לך כבר לפני, אלין או אלינה? אלין רז. כן, עניתי לפני כן. אכן, קורא עברית. He's not the Messiah. He's a very naughty boy. Heavenly Father, be my rock when the day shakes me, says all things. Empower me to speak up, to feel tall, and to find your loving embrace. Amen. That's pretty good. That's a nice little prayer. Be my rock. Empower me. Find your loving embrace. That's lovely. That's a lovely little prayer. I like that perspective, says Syrup. How hard is it to get Israeli citizenship? Well, if you're a Jew, you get it automatically. Otherwise, it can be a little tough from what I hear, but I don't know the ins and outs of how to do it. Does Nazarites don't cut hair? Why so? Moez asks. Well, the hair is what represents the crown of separation of the Nazarite man or woman, so we don't comb the hair, we don't brush the hair, we don't cut the hair. We are allowed to separate with our fingers, but that's it. That's why Nazarites don't cut their hair. Do you know about Gog and Magog? Yes, those are 2 nations. They are supposed to wage war. It's supposed to be what people would call the final war, or one of the final wars, and it's in Ezekiel. People call it Armageddon, but Armageddon is just the Englishization, if you will, of Har Megiddo, mountain of Megiddo, Armageddon. Crown of separation. Yes, it's a crown of consecration, a crown of separation. That's what it says in the book of Numbers, chapter 6, when it deals with the verses of the Nazarite vow. The Josephus, can you clarify if Yeshua they refer to in the Talmud is the same? So people, I don't know, people who have studied this said that it might be and it might not be. So I have no idea. So I definitely can't clarify it. Shave, bro. Why on earth would I do that? Ew, a Jew, says MV6. Indeed, I am. Too many spammers, says All Things. Well, it's an open platform. I don't ban the spammers. I don't kick them out. I just let them do their thing. How come your English is so damn good? Because of my parents, Jess Colonel. Because of my parents. They raised me with English. They were meticulous. They were strict. And it paid off. Can't the monitor block me as it's getting old? No, there is no monitor, DMM. There's no monitor. Sorry. Starry Orb says hi. Matthew says, I know you're not forcing your view on your kids, but you have household rules. How would you feel handle if your kids around 14, 15 wanted to leave during Shabbat and use electronics outside? I would say, okay, not in the house. I'm not going to control you. Well, look, first of all, Shabbat, the meal is a family meal. We sit down as a family and have 3 meals on Shabbat. Now, if occasionally you want to leave, go ahead and leave. And they do take their phone and it's off. They take it for emergency purposes because I understand that, my wife and I, it's something that I sort of said, okay, for the sake of having to put her mind at ease, she wants to know that there would be a phone handy if they needed to call, but they keep it off and in their bag or on in their bag, whatever it is. So, but I'm not a fan of that. Not truly. As for if they left, well, if they left, that would be their decision. The decision. Pardon me. What's the point of this stream, Grayson Poulis? Well, we're talking faith, religion, spirituality, self-development, and that's pretty much it. Let's continue. You sound very smart. Only smart. Only sound smart. I wish you can just teach interesting stuff without interruption. Well, I'm not a teacher. We're just talking. That's all that this is. It's a dialogue. It's an open dialogue. I'm not a teacher. I'm not a master. I'm not a rabbi. I'm not a sage. I'm not a, right? I'm an apprentice. Apollonius says, for the 4th time, did the story of Samson influence your decision on becoming a Nazarite? You always ignore my questions. I don't ignore the questions. This is the first time that I've seen your question. I don't ignore it intentionally. Yes, I am a Samson Nazarite, and since he was the first one who had that specific type of Nazariteship, it did influence me. His story didn't influence me, but his Nazariteship did influence me. So it's yes and no. So there's your answer. You're the wizard? What? Oh, it just jumped. Haircut would look nice on you, brother, says Aw. No, it might. If I got a haircut and a shave and a haircut, 2 bits, maybe, but no. Do you agree or disagree the IDF are the most moral army? No, I don't know who the most moral army is. I know the IDF makes some attempts to be moral when they can afford to do it, Paisley, and I think that there are times when they even manage it. But to say that they are the most moral army would mean that I would actually need to go and check out and research the other armies, and I haven't done so I can't make that claim. But I know, as somebody who served in the mandatory and the reserves until a few years ago, that there is plenty of morality in the IDF, and plenty of room for immorality in such a dire situation as this. From the onset, from the get-go, the spirit of the IDF is fairly moral. But when shit happens, and it hits the fan, and it hits the mother fan, then sometimes commanders, people in the field, do immoral things. Illegal things, too. So I can't say that IDF is the most moral army because I don't know armies. I know the IDF, so I can't make that claim. But I do know that I have seen plenty of morality in the Hebrew army, right? In the Israeli Defense Forces. That's what I'm going to say. Okay. Please give us a 20-second background on your upbringing, family, schools, etc. Well, I grew up modern Orthodox religious here in Jerusalem. I went to yeshiva in Tzfat, And in my mid-20s, I took a step back from keeping strict rabbinic law, strict halacha. At age 27, I took on a Nazarite's vow, walking that path ever since. But Orthodoxy is still my home and my root, let's say. There. I don't know if that was 20 seconds, but that's the rundown. Thank you, Alon. Are you a believing Jew? Well, it depends what you mean by believing. You are an inbred. Yeah, it just might be. Who's to say, right? Who's to say? Do you practice Kabbalistic teachings? What do you mean by practice Kabbalistic teachings? I'm not a Kabbalist. I'm a student of the Tree of Life. I've uh, I've learned Kabbalah on and off, more on than off, ever since I'm 16. So I don't. I practice it in the sense that it's part of my life and part of my day to day. But it's not as if I do the kavanot and the yichudim and all of that because I'm not a Kabbalist. Yeshiva sounds like a Pokemon. I choose you. May God have mercy on your evil soul, says Carolina Dogman. Nice to see you again, Dogman. You still haven't answered me if you're named after the Dogman from the comic book, right? The graphic novel, or not. Either way, yes, I agree. May God have mercy on all of our evil souls. What is a Nazarite? Asks Ryan. A Nazarite is somebody who has taken on the vow of the Nazariteship as it is prescribed in Numbers 6 or the Samson Nazariteship in the book of Judges. There you go. Wasm Stuff says, do you believe that the Bible, Old Testament, Torah, those are different things, is completely fantastical or is it completely literal? It's either or. I could take it either way. What I mean is that the stories in there are allegorical, or did every single one of them happen? No, I don't think every single one of them happened. And I think that some of them are allegorical and some of them are historical and some of them are, just metaphor. So it's all of it together. As always, for me, the question is, and now what? That's what the question is for me. Now what? I have this book, I have this wisdom, I have this lore, I have these scrolls, I have these teachings. What do I do with them? That's pretty much it. You're so ambiguous. Yes, I am. I truly am. And it's not because I'm shying away from difficulties or conundrums but I simply in my experience, I've learned that having a preconceived notion that's too grand and too wide, it causes you to be blind. It blinds you, right? If you've got this thing in front of your eyes, but if, on the other hand, you take things as they come and you take things on a case-by-case basis and you learn to discern and you don't keep those blinders on, then you're able to be a lot more, you're able to influence yourself and others more in the way of positivity. That's what I've found. What's the difference between the Old Testament and the Torah? Notes? Well, let's put it this way. The Old Testament is what people call the Bible, but the Torah is not the Bible. The Torah is the 5 books of Moses. The Bible, Tanakh, the Torah is only one part of it. There's a hierarchy of revelation, Torah being on top, then prophecy, then the writings and the scrolls. So that's why Old Testament and Torah are different. Torah is the 5 books of Moses. Old Testament is, people say, the entire Bible. Let's continue. Isn't Zionism against the Jewish faith? No, Paisley, Zionism has its roots in Torah. There are those religious Jews who say that the modern-day Zionism, that has its roots in the 19th century, that, right, the secular socialist Zionism, that is, people say, against the Torah. I don't think that it is, but I understand people who say that it is. As for religious Torah biblical Zionism, which exists way before the 19th century, that's not against the Jewish faith. That goes hand in hand with the Jewish faith. Okay. Let's continue. No, that's not, that's the war. Do you believe in hell? No, the Jews, there's no Jewish hell. There's something kind of close to purgatory, kind of a temporary purgation, a temporary time of refinement, up to 12 months. Traditionally, but again, there's no time and space there. People say 12 months in order to signify like a significant period of time, right? A whole trip around the sun. So there is no hell, but there is something that gets close to purgatory in the Hebrew faith, but we have no hell. Okay, let's continue. Why Jews say Hashem and not Adonai as before? Well, I don't say Hashem, I say Adonai. And Adonai was something that actually replaced the pronunciation of Yod He Vav He, because it's now not known, at least not generally commonly known. So there was Yod He Vav He, the Tetragrammaton. Later that became Adnut, right? Adonai. And now people say Hashem. The thing is that a few years ago, more than a few, I decided that I'm going with the actual name of God, the names, plural, of God, depending on the situation. I'll use a certain name. And because I believe that you need to use the right name at the right time, at the right place, for the right reason. But if I'm at a place where, the circumstances does not allow me to use God's name, I'll say Hashem, but I barely ever say that. People do it out of respect. People do it because they say that it's a sacred name and you should not use it in a pedestrian kind of way, right? You shouldn't use it you shouldn't belittle the name by just using it in everyday conversation. But I say the opposite. I say you definitely do need to use it in everyday conversation. Matthew says, you keep saying you're not a teacher. Ha! The way you respond to insults, explore questions openly, and carry yourself on stream does more teaching than many drashot. Feel better and rest those lungs. Thank you, Matthew. I deeply appreciate that. On that note, it's been just over an hour, and unfortunately, I do want to continue a lot, but I do need to rest my voice. I don't know if I'll go live tomorrow. I need to rest my lungs, like you said. But maybe I will, maybe I won't. Until then, I'll say thank you to each and every one of you. I deeply appreciate your time, your kind and gentle attention, your encouragement, and your, and the super chat, that money that will go to charity, and, the lovers, the haters, the subs, the likes, the views, the comments in the chat, the comments on the different videos. I answer each and every single comment, so if I missed your chat question or concern or comment or insult, please leave it in the chat. I will address. Leave it in the comments. I will address it. Good night from Jerusalem. Be blessed. Be a blessing. Be the reason that other people say, maybe there is a God, and be the light in other people's lives. Until then, tomorrow, I hope, maybe the next day, I don't know, but good night from Jerusalem. This was such a blast. So much fun.